2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us. Why I love my addiction. Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin. Ooh, Tyler.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I don't even know what we're supposed to talk for the next hour. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. It's probably something we haven't really specifically talked like straight out addiction for quite a while. So figured we'd get into that a little bit today.
Yeah. Yeah, we will dive into that today. So, anyways, how was? Did you get some sleep last night?
Yeah, not much. I got in just after midnight after the training. It's weird because you go to those things and you get so pumped up and you get so many ideas, and I have pages and pages of notes and I'm ready to implement them. But then the travel and the emotional expenditure of the actual event just kind of like wipes you out for the next day. Yeah. I can see it in your eyes. You're a little bit depleted right now.
Yeah, I feel like invigorated and excited and like, yeah, but I just don't want to do it yet.
I just want to rest, even though I'm pumped up about everything.
Yeah, let's just chill for a minute. I think a lot of people have gone to retreats and things, and it's so interesting that it's like just such intense connection and stimulation in so many ways, and then there's this like letdown afterwards of just like, oh, like,
yeah,
I just need a break, you know. So
yeah,
anyways,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so why I should love my addiction, I think before we dive into this, we're going to talk about all the amazing things about addiction here for a second. And I just want to say before we do that our goal, what we're not saying is that any of these behaviors are like awesome.
They're not necessarily healthy.
They hurt people.
Yeah.
And including yourself. So before we talk up addiction, let's just make it known, like it is pretty damaging.
Yeah. It's
right?
You can't, if you look at just like the traditional like definitions of addiction, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but the gist of most of those definitions is this, that I use some kind of substance or activity to increase pleasure or decrease pain, and I continue to use it or do it even when to do so causes some part of my life to become unmanageable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say unmanageability. Like, what does that mean?
Right. So unmanageability, like that's the part that you get into. Like if somebody comes into your office and they're like, am I an addict or do I have an addiction? I can go to work and I can function and I can do this and I can do that. And it's like, okay, so your work life is still manageable. And then you start checking in on other parts of life and saying, are all the other parts of life manageable or unmanageable? And is the acting out contributing to the lack of manageability if there is some? Right. So yeah, I can keep my job. I drink every day, but I keep my job. I just wait till at 5 o'clock and pop a top then. Okay. How's your marriage? Oh, my wife's getting ready to leave me. Why? Well, because I drink all night. Oh, that's unmanageability.
But yet I keep drinking.
But I keep drinking, and I don't have a problem with alcohol. It's not the alcohol.
Yeah. Huh.
But I get really angry. Oh, okay. Do you get angry when you're not drinking? No, not as much. Oh. But you don't see the connection between the alcohol and the anger.
Right.
No, I don't have a problem with alcohol. But your wife's leaving you. Yes. Okay. That's called unmanageability.
Yeah. Yeah. Unmanageability can also look like I told myself I was going to stop. And I literally told myself yesterday I was going to stop. And here I am again.
Yeah.
And
if
I don't
want the
last
100 times have been your last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do this. Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Here I am again. Unmanageability can also look like the imbalance of your life. So it starts to take over everything. It's like, well,
your thought process kind of gets hyper focused on it.
Yeah. Like I can't just socialize. I have to drink, right? Or like, let's take sex or porn. It's like, I can't just be present with people or my family because I'm just thinking about how am I going to get that fix? Where's that going to come from next? I'm spending massive amounts of time and money and things like that. Like, an 8-hour day of work, you spend 5 hours on the computer acting out. Like that's unmanageability.
Right. Exactly. So you start looking at those things, and that's like what a definition of an addiction is. So when we start talking about why you should love your addiction, we're acknowledging that the addiction itself is the thing that's driving people into treatment with us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're not promoting addiction here.
It's causing a ton of pain in people's lives.
Yeah.
It's an insidious form of like breaking relationships apart and damaging self-confidence and fueling shame. It does all of those things and it produces really bad outcomes in your life, and that's why it's an addiction. And
yet fighting against it will actually give it more power. Yeah. And so this is kind of the paradoxical nature to this of if you want to gain control with your addiction, then you need to love it. If you want to get rid of it, you need to love it.
Right. It sounds so weird to do that because that is truly paradoxical. But I'll give you like a kind of an example of how we've maybe changed over the years too, and why we're talking about this right now, Brannon. Do you remember the old days when we would do like different assignments with our clients? And one of the assignments that we used to do is we would have them, and I still do this, but I do it differently now. I'd have them create like an artistic impression of their addict self. And then we used to have them write a letter, and the letter was like I want you out of my life. I'm breaking up with you. So long for good. Like I'm practicing saying, this is all the ways you hurt my life. And then they would read that letter and practice trying to let go of their addict.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And now that assignment looks more like create an image of your addict self and then write a letter to your addict self that outlines everything that outlines an understanding of what it's done for you over the years and how it formed, all the things it's doing to try to protect you and help you, and the good intentions that it's had over the years to try to support you, and all of the negative consequences that it's producing, and then offer it understanding, curiosity, compassion, and then invite it to take its place with you rather than running your life.
That you just described what we call unburdening your protective parts. And that's you can see that you almost align yourself with it. So if you think about it this way, Tyler, the addiction is fighting extremely hard for you to not feel pain. The addiction provides a powerful tool and a very available tool to get relief. Like it is good at its job.
It does a dang good job at what it was designed to do.
It steps up.
It's smart.
It steps up too well.
it like crashes too many parties.
Yeah. It steps up too well. It's too accessible, too easy, too powerful,
too consistent,
too amazing in so many ways. So if I have any pain, if I have stress about money or relationship problems or this or that, like I go find that thing that gets me some dopamine.
Oh, an instant relief.
And will satiate me out and just have me feel like, oh, I don't have to deal with those problems anymore.
Yeah. I'll give you maybe an example of that, Brannon. Like when I was on my church mission, when I was like 20 years old, I had a bike accident like 2 days after Christmas where I knocked out. Well, I didn't really knock out. I like fractured in a weird way. I fractured the 3 front teeth in my mouth. And the nerves were like hanging out. So it was just like extremely painful. And then they had to go and do they had to do like all sorts of work on my mouth. And then they sent me to a periodontist who had to raise my gum line just to be able to get crowns back on my teeth after they kind of tried to patch up what they could, what was left. And I remember, I don't know if you've ever experienced this or not, Brannon, but growing up, we never had like the nitrous kind of gas in the dentist. The very first time I ever had nitrous was on this like surgery. So I was fully awake and I was watching this like periodontist like cut my mouth open and pull out chunks of tissue. And I was just in like pure bliss. Like, this is
going to make me pass out.
This is the best feeling I think I've ever felt in the world. I'm like, where has this been all my life? You know, and then so I knew like, and I already know I have an addictive personality. So I knew like, oh man, I want to get a hold of that. So every time I went to the dentist afterwards, I'd be like, do you guys have nitrous? You guys have nitrous? You know, and then I'd go.
Junkie.
I was total junkie. I got to a spot where I was drinking too much like soda, and I ended up with like, I was starting my practice several years later, and I got to where I was like,
you're getting cavities on purpose.
Getting cavities, and I went into the dentist, and the dentist was like, "Man, you drink way too much soda." Like, and I was drinking like 128 ounces of Dr. Pepper at that time a day. That's like a gallon, like a gallon of Dr. Pepper every day. So I'm already addicted to that. And then the dentist is like, hey, you got so many cavities in your mouth. We can either do it like one setting and just fix all your cavities, or we could do it in halves or quadrants. And I'm like, so 1 appointment, 2 appointments, or 4 appointments? He's like, yeah. I'm like, 4. Geez. I'm like, 4 appointments.
You junkie.
And the reason why I picked 4 was for the nitrous. Because it just like instantly, and that's what the addiction does, is it can consistently produce the thing you're looking for. It's just that after you use it too much, it doesn't produce as good of results as it used to.
If I ever get in a like accident with you or whatever, and we're at the hospital, I am not letting them give you fentanyl. No way.
Don't let me like
ibuprofen. I don't care how much pain he's in.
When I blew out my knee, the doctor gave me like 120 hydrocodone. He should never give me that much. I used it all in like a week's time, and then I went back to him like a week later, and I was like, Doc, like my knee hurts so bad. I got to have more medicine. And he looked me straight in the face and he's like, your knee doesn't hurt. You can't have any more pills.
I hope you listened.
And I was like, but in my brain, I thought I hurt. I really thought that I hurt, but then he's like, no, you don't hurt. He's like, that's a mental, he's like, you're already forming. So that doctor saved me from having an opioid.
You're lucky. You're lucky you had a good doctor.
Because I love those things. And, but why? Because it will instantly do its job.
Right. So
it just takes it all away.
Yeah. So addiction, a couple of things, if we can really get into this. Addiction's good at numbing pain. It's good at just like quickly numbing pain. You can do it anonymously. It's awesome for that. It does other things too, though. And these other things are almost more, I don't know what the right word is, like make people cling on to their addiction even more so.
They get attached to it. Almost like a relationship.
Yeah. It's things like, I need a means to sabotage my life because I'm worried that if I do too good, I might fail. And so every so often I'll relapse into something, whatever addiction it is, to prove to myself that I'm not good enough. So then I won't fall and I won't fail as hard. So thank you, addiction, for stepping up for me,
avoiding failure,
giving me a proof that I can't do these hard things. And you use the addiction to take care of you in that way. So not only are you getting the dopamine hit and the fun of it, but you're also using it in other ways to avoid emotional discomfort, spiritual discomfort, whatever discomfort it is.
Exactly. And it also works for those things too for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if I'm scared of intimacy because I have trauma and shame, and it's like, well, my wife wants to be closer. Well, what I can do is I've seen this, Tyler, before, where it's like the person struggling with the addiction knows, like, well, if I act out this often and in these ways, then I can control the level of vulnerability in my relationship.
Yeah, so she'll stay more distant to me. Yeah. And I'm scared of her getting closer.
Yep. Sexual anorexics love it pairs well with sex addiction, and it's for that reason.
It's I can go and pursue the sexual response and experience without the vulnerability of being in a real deep relationship, and at the same time it also lets me kind of stay at arm's length internally and externally from my partner if I act out just every so often. Yeah, because then that kind of makes her or him not want to get too close to me.
Yep.
Right.
Another thing it does is it, and look, just look how, as I go through some of these things, like clever and good it is at some of this stuff. Addiction is really good at validating and agreeing with your shame and your faulty core beliefs. So it's like, if I feel like I'm horrible, and the addiction will come around and be like, yeah, see, you're horrible. Like it. And I know this sounds
better now.
I know this sounds weird. It sounds weird, but you almost feel like it's your friend because it's there to tell you what you believe is true.
It's like listening to a really depressing song when you're sad and having that song feel so good.
Yeah. And that song tell you that you're sad and help you be sad.
Yeah.
Addiction does that with shame. So addiction does it to a level, even a further level. It does it with your identity. I have an identity that I'm not lovable, that I'm not okay. Addiction will be there to tell me that I'm not lovable and that I'm not okay. And it drives home those things. And in a weird way, it's like, well, I have something that proves it true.
Right.
Right.
It's interesting that you say that, Brannon, because it also does the opposite for some people too, which it gives them a semblance of like fulfillment or connection too sometimes. Mm-hmm. Where if I come home, I'm like, maybe I'm the kid at school who never has any friends and gets picked on, and I come home and I can jump on the computer and go in and fantasize about what it's like to have that amazingly beautiful woman that I can just imagine would want to be with me, and I'm so good, and all of that stuff in the fantasy can kick in. And now for a split second, I don't have to be the kid who just got picked on and the loner at school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got to feel the
you
void
can
for a
escape the
minute.
shame. Yeah. So it does both. It reinforces the shame and it provides escape for the shame.
Both. That's
Look how
the hook.
powerful that is.
That's the hook. Is it validates the pain you're in at the same time that it promises relief.
and it gives you short-term relief.
Temporary relief, often at the cost of your values.
And at the cost of like just wallowing in more shame.
Right.
Another thing addiction does, before we move on from this, and it's really good at it, it's amazing actually, is if I'm a certain type of dude, right? Like, let's say I'm like really chill. Addiction can be tailor-made for that. The type of sexual acting out can create feeling really chill. The type of drug I use, certain types of drugs, chill me out, make me feel good, right? Satiate me out. If I'm a like adrenaline junkie and I'm not chill and I want to feel things. Man, addiction can do that.
It can do that for you too.
It's like good. It's like so good at that. And like, here, like take this stimulant, do this acting out. Like you'll get that adrenaline hit. If I'm a creator and I like to just see things and feel things and I have that creative mind,
Want to escape?
addiction can do that. It can give me I can pick exactly what does it for me. And it's really interesting, Tyler. We worked in drug addiction for a lot of years, and it's like funny because there's the polysubstance users that just like use anything. And those are the people that just want to numb out. Like if you have something, I'll take it.
I'll take whatever you got.
I just need to numb out. But what's interesting is most of them have their thing.
They have like their favorites.
There's the tweakers, the meth addicts, there's the alcoholics, there's the potheads, they have their things. And
if you ever talk to somebody who's deep into their addiction, they will die on the heel of that substance.
Yeah.
You talk to a marijuana addict.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, they will die on the heel of how amazing marijuana is.
Yep.
Because it's done something for them.
Yep. And the crack addicts are like, there's nothing better.
Nothing
like,
better
I
than
just
crack.
got to get to that.
Yep. Exactly.
Because it can be tailor-made for you. So anyways, we could go on and on. Addiction is the reason why it's epidemic and everywhere is because it's so good at what it does.
Yeah.
And so we can say good for it. That's really hard to say.
Well, actually, I think though, Brannon, kind of to go back to the reason why we're doing this episode, to go along with what you're saying is one of the reasons why you could learn to love your addiction is because your addiction is giving you data. If you're willing to stop and look at the data that it's giving. And some of the data is the stuff you just said, Brannon. It's like, okay, why do I choose to do this kind of a behavior versus that kind of a behavior? Why do I love nitrous oxide and painkillers? It says something about my styles of addiction.
Yeah.
And, we talk about the three styles you just mentioned. There's the satiation, which is like fill the void, numb out, calm down. There's the adrenaline kind, which is like take risks, take the uppers. People who shouldn't be taking ADHD medicine, but do because they like how it gives them an upper.
Do the illegal sexual activity.
All that.
Gives you that arousal.
The risk is the illegal part, and that's more fun than the actually acting out itself. And then the third part is that fantasy addiction, which is like, I just want to escape and go to new worlds and be creative. If I understand what I'm trying to get out of my addiction, I'm also now starting to have insights into the pathway of what a wholehearted life looks like for me. So I need to build into my life because I'm a satiation and adrenaline addict. I like both. I need to build in healthy forms of adrenaline into my life as a way of living, and I need to build in healthy forms of relaxation in my life as a way of living. Whereas a fantasy addict is going to need to build into their life as a way of living outlets for their creativity.
Right.
They're going to have to be engaged actively in creative processes as part of a wholehearted life for them. So that data then gives you some of the steps and pathway forward into like what itches really need to be scratched in your life.
Yeah. Yep. It's like I think of a guy I was working with years ago, and he took on just like he took on gardening, and he got really into like composting and things like that, and he was just in the earth, just like, and and it really helped him in his recovery. And the reason is we talk about it, he's like, I just love chilling out in my garden. I just love feeling the sun. It's almost relaxing to me, and so to me it's like, oh well, his addiction, he's kind of a satiator. He finds some peace, he finds some quiet in his garden. That's great. I know, Tyler, for you, some of your clients have started riding horses. I had one guy start creating BMX jumps, and he stepped into that. Like, he was doing that. So yes, it informs you. It helps you. It helps you know yourself if you actually get curious about your addiction.
Exactly. We just had a comment that says, I use THC in order to escape and fill time up for boredom. What is that? That's a satiation style, right? It's like, oh man, I can't handle being alone. I got to have something to fill my time. You can hear it is almost like trying to like soak that in. So what he needs in his life is he needs to say, okay, I'm going to have to submit myself to actually creating some patterns in my life that allow me to learn how to be comfortable being in a relaxed
maybe
state.
Some meditation, mindfulness practices, maybe laying on the lawn, just like getting deliberate with your chilling out. But the other thing too, Tyler, that he's saying, and it's two-sided.
There's another, yeah.
Yeah. On one hand, it's learn how to step into, like fulfilling that. On the other hand, it's learning how to just sit in the discomfort of the boredom.
That's the part of addiction recovery nobody wants to hear about.
Yeah.
It's hard, like on a first session when someone comes in and they're like, hey, I want to overcome my addiction. And you're like, yeah, you can get better. You can live a happy life. And then like 3, 4, 5 weeks into group, you start teaching them. And by the way, part of that, half of your recovery is going to be learning how to just deal with discomfort.
Yeah. How often have you heard, Tyler, where they're like, God, I've been sober for 2 weeks and I'm just like feeling everything now. I'm feeling bored. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling
my emotions are running
resentment.
wild.
I'm just feeling it all now.
Yeah. And it's like, exactly. That's because you trained yourself to not feel for so long.
Right. It's all bottled
up. But what you just said there, Brannon, is also, I think, really important as to why it's important to come to love your addiction. is that if you're going to have to learn to lean into the discomfort, the addiction itself is causing a lot of the discomfort. And the more you come to know it, and the more familiar you become with it, and the more aware you become of it, the more you learn to be curious with it and understand it, the less it's going to want to act out.
Right.
Because anything that gets validated decreases.
Right.
So now it's like, oh man, I'm in that bored spot right now. Oh no, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, I can't even handle being in my own head, because then it turns into like thoughts of how stupid I am and how I'm not good enough at this and how I'm losing that and everything else. Yep. Like, I better hurry, go and run away. What if you got to a spot where you could go, okay, that's what my addiction did for me, is it made me numb out, but now I can learn to lean into that. What would you want to do for me, addiction? Oh, I want to go smoke some weed. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. Okay, of course you do. Like, can we go in and like actually understand what this stress really is and how it actually processes in the body? Can we learn some new things to cope with this rather than just having to disappear all the time? Now I can take that part of me. The addiction is a part of me. I can take it with me rather than trying to fight it. I can observe that it's there without feeding it.
Tyler, let's think. I'm going to give you metaphor here, and it's an interesting one. So,
Okay.
because I'm going to compare Grandma Patrick to addiction.
Oh man, this is going to be a big stretch.
Yeah.
Like
So,
Grandma Patrick is like the nicest lady ever that we've ever met.
think of best grandma I hate to tell everybody listening, our grandma's better than yours.
She was the best grandma that ever walked the face of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd work all day, we'd mow lawns, and we'd always finish at her house, and we'd mow her lawn, and then we'd just like hang out with her for a little while. And what would she do?
She would be like, well, first she was always obsessed with wanting to feed us.
Yeah.
Like the minute we'd walk in, she'd be like, oh, you boys are here. I can't wait. Like, oh, look at, like, I'll find something to cook for you. And if there wasn't anything in the house, she'd like run out to the store, and then we'd be like, Grandma, we don't have a lot of time. No, I'll be back. Like
She'd pull out in the deepest part of her freezer, some freezer burned steak. But okay, so she would try to feed us, and like we had just gone out to eat. We had just like, so we get to her house, and we were never hungry.
we were never hungry.
And I remember a couple times, like it was a hot summer day, and just being like, oh, Grandma would kind of be close to us. I'd be like, what, Tyler, you want a warm glass of milk?
You say that out loud, so Grandma would just hear it in the other room.
Yeah.
Coming right up.
Like, no, I don't want one. No, I'll get one. I'll get you one. I'll get you what you want. So, so do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Why would Grandma do that? Why would she feed us? Why would she take care of us?
That was the currency that she had to show that she loved us.
Yeah, she was taking care of us. And I know this might feel like a far stretch with addiction. We didn't need the food. Like really,
No.
I didn't want it. I didn't want like a really hot meal
On a summer afternoon.
and half an hour after we ate out. after you loaded up on Hot Lamp.
Yeah.
Like we didn't want that, and yet she was trying to help us, trying to take care of us, trying to make sure that we were okay.
And heaven forbid you say no to her.
Oh, she would like, yeah. She
You
would,
can't say no.
so, but I think what I want to look at here is it's kind of similar. Of like, I know her intentions are to help me. Thank you. And I don't need what you're trying to give me. Right?
Right.
It's that same thing.
And I still love you.
And I love you. And when you say you love your addiction, you are saying that you love a part of you. And I believe, Tyler, it's healthy to love every part of you, including your addiction.
So it would be okay to go to Grandma while she's in the kitchen and we're sitting down for a minute and just say, hey, Grandma, what we'd really prefer is just come sit down in the chair and visit with us for a minute and watch Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, just sit here. We're okay.
We just want to be with you.
We know you love us.
Yeah.
I don't need the warm glass of milk. Like, I know you love me.
You did that
Sit
to me
down.
way too much, by the way. Oh.
I don't need the warm glass of milk to know that you love me. I know you love me. And think about if we weren't mature enough to actually, have those type of conversations.
No, we never did that with her.
But if we did, she'd probably bring her to tears.
Yeah.
She'd probably just be like, "Oh, okay, thanks. Like, yeah, I'll just sit here with you guys and hang out." And your addiction can do the same thing. I see you. I understand you're trying to protect me. I know you're giving me this massive craving that I can't seem to kick and overcome. And like, man, you are pushing hard right now.
Yeah. And you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything. Thank you for pushing so hard.
You can come along, but you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
But in order to do that, you have to build trust in yourself. Right.
Right. Right. So like going into this place of loving your addiction, it's way opposite than saying, I love my addiction, therefore I will indulge. right?
Yeah. In fact, the pathway is that when you unburden the addiction by getting curious and compassionate with it, it needs to indulge less.
Yeah. That's key. Say that again.
When you engage with your addiction in a way that you can be curious and compassionate to it, it needs to indulge less because it doesn't have to scream as loud to be seen.
Yeah. I was working with a guy who was compulsively masturbating. It was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times a day. And he did this. He stopped. But for a long time he was fighting. He was like, "Why do I do this? I want to stop. I'm hiding it from my wife. Just fight. And he stopped and he was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to acknowledge and accept that it's there. I'm going to love it." And it was so interesting because something about him doing that unburdened that part so much so that he stopped masturbating. It was crazy. That's all he needed. All he needed was like, hey, it's like this screaming child, like, you're okay. I see you. I love you.
Yeah.
And then the child rests.
Yeah. I think acknowledging that the pain that's there and what it's trying to do for you, it's a famous quote that like Marsha Linehan says in DBT that says the worst thing that any emotion can do, which is what the addiction is, it's emotionally driven. The worst thing it can make you do is feel. And in addiction, people feel like they lose their sense of choice, but in reality, what they do is they just establish a habit that makes them not realize they're choosing. And what they can choose is they can choose to go towards the part that's yelling without having to act on it.
Right.
And instead of trying to kill it and fight it, when you try to kill it and fight it, it will grow and it will fuel more shame. And that shame will lead you to want to act out more. Or you can go towards it with eyes of curiosity, compassion, and healthy boundaries and invite it into new space with you.
Yep. Dick Schwartz nailed the name of his book, No Bad Parts. And that includes your addictions. Your addictions are protective parts. They're specifically firefighter parts, sometimes even managers, but they like no bad parts. Your addiction isn't bad. It just is overactive, over responsive. And so in order to have it not act up so much, you need to unburden it through love.
That's right. It's like dealing with a kid. I used to work with kids in my internship up in Idaho when I was in graduate school, and you'd spend like anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week with each kid. That was my job. And you were teaching them skills and life skills and kind of being a mentor and a support. And I had this one kid who had something called reactive attachment disorder. And in reactive attachment disorder, basically it forms when it comes from like a really bad upbringing, neglectful family, and there's no secure attachments that are formed. And in some ways, with a kid like that, they throw those big fits. And then sometimes you love them, and the closer you get to them and the more you love them, then they throw a big fit. But if but then if you ignore them, then they make a big problem and throw a big fit. So either way, you're always dealing with a big fit. And what I learned with this kid is that I had to learn how to hold just the right space where I was there, and I always said how much I cared for him. I always said how much I loved him. I always said how grateful I was to work with him. And I had to hold the boundaries when we'd be in some public somewhere or something, and he'd start throwing stuff or kicking and yelling and screaming, and I'd have to we're done. But I had to hold the boundary in a loving way. Because if I got angry and bitter and frustrated, it would amp him up even further. If I did nothing, then he would run rampant and cause all sorts of damage. But I had to have that structure and boundaries along with the love. And that's what we can do with our own addictions.
Right. Yes. Tyler, it's been a fun discussion. It's fun to kind of get in the weeds with addiction stuff, and I'm so glad that you've done so much of this work, and we've kind of seen everything, and we've gone through early on fighting directly against it, and it doesn't work, and so we talk about this from years of experience. So I hope this was helpful for anybody listening. I really appreciate the people who joined us on YouTube. Love getting your comments and your participation. And so don't be shy. Join us on YouTube. Come subscribe if you haven't. It's Therapy Brothers. Just type that in YouTube. You'll find us there. And until next time, keep on keeping on.